Welcome to Bottom Line Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner Albert Kemmon. You know, Albert, for years, national title. You know, Bear Bryant has about 35 of them, but about 15 of them were the Birmingham News.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't have any good teams, but my goodness, it was always mythical. Mm-hmm. I remember one year Paterno was furious. Nixon said that was it Texas or someone was the better team, and he was upset. So we go. First, we do the BCS. Oh, this was wrong. That bottom line was they didn't do a bad job.
Yeah,
they got the two best teams. I'd say
many times.
Most every year.
Many times they did, and then they said that's not good enough.
No,
we don't want to go by those computers. We don't want to go by those human polls. We're going to go another way on the field.
There we go. So now we have a college, but no. Once again, I heard someone saying the other day, the NCAA. I said, it has nothing to do with the NCAA. It's the 5 power conferences running their own, whatever you want to call it, elimination tournament or whatever. This is not an NCAA tournament.
Not at all. And then there's 12 humans put in that room. Mm-hmm. And they're just like me and George. George and I talked all the time. I remember George convinced me. I was Ohio State has to be there. George said, no, the champion has to be there. So I'd have been in that room, and George convinced me that Penn State should be there. Well, that's what they do. And they're human beings also. They're making that decision. 4 top teams in the 2 semifinals. And then they're arguing, George. Wait a minute, they couldn't make – Michigan's still saying we should be there. And Penn State still – so when is it going to be right? I have no idea.
Let's say this, though. I know you can poke holes in 8 because number 9, but it'd be a lot better. Imagine if we had Penn State, Michigan, Southern Cal, and Western Michigan in there. And we said, okay, Western Michigan doesn't belong. We'll send them to Tuscaloosa in the first round. After 1 week, we still got our 4.
I agree.
But it happened on the field.
I like it. But then I looked up and I said, here's the questions that I came up with. And then when I knew we were going to start, they said, when would you play the 4 and where? When and where do you play them? But somebody's going to be greedy. Somebody's, wait a minute. That's our turn. It's our whatever. If it was just nice, okay, I'll take it.
See, I'd play home field first round.
Okay.
Top 4 at home. 8, 1, 7, 2, like that. Then it would be 4 after 1 week. Then I'd go back to the Bulls.
All right, and then the next question come up. That means you're going to play 3 games.
Yes.
The fans. Let's say the away fans who had to go from Western Michigan to Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay. Western Michigan upsets Alabama. Okay. I guarantee not all those parents of those have money.
Oh, I know.
They'll be saying, okay, who's going to that next game?
Yeah.
They'll say, I can't go, honey.
I hear that, but I just see the kind of crowds that they pack in at those places. And
I think they're corporate crowds.
You know, my buddy said the other day he looked into tickets for Penn State and the Rose Bowl. My God, it's like the national debt of Bolivia.
I said it's corporate.
Yeah.
No, I said it's corporate buys these tickets. It ain't individuals. No question about it. So that's what they have to look into, and could they do it for 3 games? They're asking all these kind of questions. I am a guy that's for 8. I don't. When I look at the questions, they're asking, would that mean the end of the conference championships games, which people really look forward to? We're talking about the Southeastern Conference Championship, the big, the Pac-10, Pac-12 Conference Championships. These are all questions that need to be answered.
Well, let's talk about going to the 8 then if we did. We'd have the 5 Power 5 winners and 3 at large. I'm just saying, okay.
Yes.
Now, like you say, when would you play the quarterfinal? Would it be at a home site? 4 and 5 would really argue. 8 and 1, it wouldn't be much.
But once again, there's going to be always arguments on going on. I just think it's going to be decided on the team a lot better. Okay. And I know number 9 would cry, and I understand that.
Yep.
But I just think 8 is I think it's going to go that way too, because ESPN is losing money with their customers or whatever some way, and all of a sudden somebody says to them, "Listen, you want to gain some money back?"
Hey, they lost $40 million on that Longhorn team.
Yeah, put 3 extra games on. Yeah, watch that money come back so fast.
Here's another problem. We'll talk about it. The Bulls, they're already irrelevant. They start next Saturday. If you can name the 5 next Saturday or 6, then let me know. I think one of them is called the Celebration the New Mexico Bowl. Who's in it? Oh, New Mexico. Oh, really? Where's it at? At their place. But that tells you they couldn't get a crowd at the neutral.
Yeah, the bowl season does start this Saturday, and that's what we're here today to talk about the Bulls with you. There's 6 of them kickoff immediately.
Saturday. I looked. They start at noon. There's one with no line. It's a North Carolina Central game, but the other 5 are legitimate Las Vegas rotation games.
Then you look about the game played in New Orleans between Lafayette and Southern Miss. That's going to be a packed house. They don't have to travel anywhere, and both of them follow the
That'd be a nut house.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy down there.
The Raging Cajuns.
Yeah, they're getting ready for the pre-holiday weekend. So that's going to be a crazy event down in down in New Orleans, no question about it.
Now let's talk about it a little bit. Let's say you wanted to win it all. Well, you're going to have to beat Alabama at some point.
Yeah, no question about that. When you watch, you'd have to be really, really not intelligent to say Alabama's not the team to beat. It tells you immediately in Vegas that one of the big games in the playoffs is a 3-point line, and the other one's a 16-point line.
Let's talk about that.
It tells you right away that what are they talking about?
Now, Lane Kiffin left today. He's going to Florida Atlantic.
He took the job?
Yeah. And
did he?
First, two things come out that surprised me. One, you'll never hear Lane Kiffin again unless he does something stupid, like he's very capable.
Right.
And secondly, he was making
We had to get the money big.
but he was making $1.4 million as a coordinator.
Oh yeah, Alabama. No one pays more money in Alabama.
They don't care, do they?
They pay their trainer more than head coaches.
In other words, they just tell the guy.
Their strength coach makes more than head coach.
You just win. And if you don't win, that's different. But if you win, we're going to tear up
But
your
they give
mortgage.
you everything to
We're going to tear up your mortgage.
Yeah.
And here's basically it. What do you need, Nick? And if you were to ever run afoul of him in any way,
Nobody ever.
you would have to
will.
leave Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
Would
no
you
one-
agree?
no one
like,
ever
say
will.
the editor wrote some. He'd
They
have
would
to,
never do it.
He
First of all,
couldn't.
the fans are so rapid down there that somebody would blow up his house.
Did you ever listen to
But I'm not laughing.
I know, no,
no,
it's
somebody
not.
would.
Did you ever listen to Feinbaum?
Shoot bullets.
Did you ever
in the
hear
window.
when they call Paul? And I'm like,
No,
this is plant call. I said, this person cannot be, but they are. They're Alabama football fans.
Yeah, so they pay their assistants more than the head coaches make. Mm-hmm. They have 5 psychologists. Some colleges have none. They're sending them to see tutors that they make sure everything is in place every second, and then they have private plane for. Well, I'm off private planes, but Saban has anything.
How about if he wants to come up to see a kid at Warren
He'll
Harding?
be up 5 days in a row.
Just gas up the jet, Earl.
Yeah, he'll be up 5 days in a row.
And that's it.
Yeah, there's not any question about it.
They don't have any restrictions on
None.
it.
0 restrictions. So
17-point favorite in the first game. Now, Ohio State's a 3-point favorite over
pretty amazing.
Clemson. What do you think about that?
well, when I said when you look at those games and you see the lines, it tells you what the team Alabama's put on the field. People are saying that this is Saban's best team. We'll find out, but nobody's been close. Mississippi is the one team that hung in there for a while, but other than that, they just make mincemeat out of everybody.
But how do you play them? You called me one day, and I said, Al, they're up 17-7 and they don't have any yards. I remember you said, what do you mean? I said, they have 2 bringbacks.
Well, they have 14 touchdowns this year, defensively.
And they've given up.
Given up 14 touchdowns. That's all you got to know what kind of team they have.
And they open with Southern Cal. It's not like, well, let's just not play anybody.
Yeah, Southern Cal.
Now, all of a sudden, Southern Cal's good again. I bet if you ask them boys that were in the trenches, they said there's no need to play.
No, we already whooped them so badly. That's the game I'm going by when I look at this game. I would love to say Washington's going to be in this game. I saw Southern Cal romp them like they couldn't get a first down
at Washington.
And Alabama's defense is way better than Southern Cal's. Browning's going to be running for his life, and I'm a big Washington fan. Mm-hmm. I think they're underrated.
We like the coach from Boise.
I think he's really good. Mm-hmm. I just think the personnel on the field is way off base, and they're telling you why it's a 17-point spread.
Now let's look at some of the other games that might catch your eye. Here's one that caught mine: Louisville with the Heisman Trophy winner versus what has to be, if not the best defense. And well, what do you mean, Alabama? Well, the offense they're going against, LSU has not won, just a runner.
Yes, and you're looking. Remember, he talked about Jackson winning the Heisman. Leonard Fournette was the front runner coming into the year to win the Heisman, and so I have a feeling that LSU is going to try to feed him the ball and say the real Heisman Trophy winner is going to win this game. LSU great defensively, lousy offensively. Louisville great offensively, lousy defensively. You're going to find out
How do you see that game
which
coming
one
about?
goes.
Let's say I ask you.
Jeez, George.
I mean,
if Louisville was playing their best, but they're not. They lost to Kentucky. They're not playing well at all. And LSU is playing much better. I would think LSU is going to beat them just because I see their athletes every year, and I can think to myself,
they keep bouncing balls at their feet and throwing balls over their head. Then they go to the pros and it's Beckwith, and you're like, wait a minute, he didn't catch. Well, that's because they threw him over his head.
Yeah, that's all the time. They've never had a quarterback down. They'll be recruiting quarterbacks, no question. And my guess is also that they really do love Ed Orgeron, however you say his name.
Yeah, no, Orgeron.
Yeah, and they'll want to play in this bowl game. And it's telling you right now that LSU is favored. They're the better team. So it's I'd have LSU if I was taking. It's not one of my favorite bowls.
Would there be that speedy defense? In other words, that quarterback.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, he's not just going to run away from them, is he?
No, nobody runs away from them. Alabama scored 10 points against them. Alabama scored 10, and the exact same offense that Louisville runs. So it's not going to be easy for Louisville for sure. But he does make plays himself.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of teams that beat SEC teams. Mm-hmm. The ones that don't, it's not the play. And Jackson can do that, no question about it.
I heard him the other day, pretty humble too, the kid I got. He was youngest ever. I kind of liked, he was very humble.
Oh, very humble. No,
God
how about
bless
he said
it,
snap? Snap.
Could we use some humility?
Yeah, we love humility, yes.
Oh, God bless America.
Yeah, there is none.
Now, Penn State, Southern Cal. Here, I watched Penn State. I'll admit it, I was rooting for them a little bit. They did a nice job. You know, when you start the season 2-2 or 1-3 like these two did. But here's the thing I'll say. I watched the Penn State game closely. There were 4 or 5 balls that were nothing more than jump ball, go get it, number 8. Those Southern Cal guys back there.
Yeah, they jump the same way. Happening. They do jump the same way. I'll say this: the Penn State is the one team in Southern Cal that has 2 ways to beat you: run and pass. Penn State's offensive line is not run block, but they have a great back. Barkley's a great back. Penn State's hard to stop. Southern Cal in that league usually is a one-dimensional thing. They want either the team can pass or the team can run. They can't do both. So Penn State's going to put some points up, I would think, on Southern Cal. But since they made that quarterback change, George, Southern Cal's made that change to Arnold.
Yeah, Darnold.
Darnold. Yes, they've been dominant. No question.
They missed the boat out there early. They had the wrong guy.
Yeah, they did. And Phil Savage, who runs the Senior Bowl, saw them practice the very first practice of the year this year, and he came out of the practice, and I'll give him credit. He came on the radio and said, Sam Darnold's the better player. I don't know what they're doing.
This guy left already, too, I believe.
Oh, he had to. Yeah. He's never playing. Darnold's a freshman. He's never going to play.
Now, let's look at the sugar. Usually we're getting 11-1, 10-2.
Yeah, that's different, isn't it, George?
In the SEC, everybody had 4 losses.
We said they were down this year. I said the SEC was down.
But Auburn's in there. You know they play good defense.
And they run the ball down your throat, no question about it. Oklahoma is taken off since the Ohio State game and just thrashed teams, playing great. Now they have this coming up. But they had 2 guys at the Heisman. They had Baker Mayfield and D.D. Westbrook both there. The hardest team for me to judge in the country all the time is Oklahoma. I'm never sure what's going to show up. Never know. Every time I think they're really good.
Yeah. They've let us down.
So I'm not sure about them. But I know the SEC, and then going back to that LSU game, that's why I can't jump on LSU. Usually the SEC coming out, I'm thinking, oh, they're really good.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I haven't seen LSU be really good all year at all.
No, not on offense especially.
No, you know, and defensively, A&M went through them. A&M went right through them, so I'm not sure how good the SEC is. We're going to find out, though. In some years, they go 4-8. Other years, they go 9-1. We're going to find out.
How about this Auburn team? They were giving up 15 points a game.
Defensively, they played Alabama really tough. But they need their health. They missed White, and they missed Petway down the stretch. This month off, like you said, George.
When you think short of a broken bone, everybody's back.
That's what I'm thinking. If they get both those guys back, Auburn from week 5 to 9 till those guys got hurt, were playing. I told you they were playing the best ball in the SEC.
And he runs that ball different. Like he's a schemer.
Yes, he is. He's an X and O guy. He'll set you up all over the field, try to run the football. He'll make it look pass. Make it look pass and make it look pass again, but they're really running the ball down your throat. That's where Petway comes in. Oklahoma, I'll say it again. Of all the teams in all the bowls, I cannot predict what they're going to do in a bowl game.
How about the 2 losses, Houston, Ohio State, and they run the Big 12 like it's nothing?
Yeah, and Houston ended up being not real good. That's what I'm saying. I know Auburn just as good as Houston, and Houston beat the crap out of them.
Oh, they did.
I can't figure it out. They're a very difficult team.
Went into West Virginia and just smashed
them. Yeah, they did.
On that snow. I mean,
yeah, I remember that night.
I'm thinking it has to be a low-scoring game. It was 65. I'm like, okay. Alamo, Colorado, and Oak State. What I've seen of Colorado, I'd have to have a guarantee the quarterback was playing because the drop-off is too great.
Yeah, it is. And it's usually like that in most teams, and we saw it for sure. Oklahoma State plays in that pass-happy scoring machine of the Big 12. Colorado is playing, and probably got the coach of the year, Mike McIntyre, I would think, in the whole country. They've come back from way back, and they beat the spread every game but one. And that was the last game of
and let's talk about
yeah.
McIntyre. He went there from San Jose. I'm thinking, oh,
Over his head,
he's getting fired. He's
Yeah.
getting fired. Stuck with it. Next thing you know, they're playing for a league championship.
I like that they stuck with him. We're talking about somebody that finally said, hey, we hired him for these many years. We're not going to cut him short. You know, everybody wants the quick fix. That's today's world in our country. What can you do for us today? Well, McIntyre struggled with Colorado. And the players he brought in stayed with him, and they had a great season. They're both very similar. One short, just missed by one game short of doing something really special.
Cotton Bowl. That Cotton Bowl. I
Yeah.
know one thing. I don't root often, but I'll be rooting that day, buddy.
Western
I'll be
Michigan.
rowing that boat with
Georgia
my boys. My
Georgia
boys,
rowing.
13-0. No respect.
Looks like he's staying there too, by the way.
I think they're saying we know what we have. We're going to sweeten the pot.
Looks like he's staying there.
PJ Fleck. Do you ever see him on the sideline when he tries to keep up with a guy, like when he's going for a touchdown?
Oh, he likes
He
to
was a
run.
wide receiver at Northern Illinois. I
likes
didn't
to
know
run.
he must have been a pretty good player.
Probably was.
But all that nonsense away. When you can do that, you're not talking Notre Dame.
No, they never won. Western Michigan never won.
Never.
No, he went in and got some Florida players. He did his job recruiting. Put up an undefeated season. How many other guys can be rooting for them? I think they got a good matchup on the defensive side. Wisconsin's secondary is not real strong. Western Michigan can throw the ball against them. I just don't know. They're going to be outmanned by 50 pounds a guy on the line of scrimmage. I just don't know.
Wisconsin played that smash.
That's Mike.
That Paul Christ from Pitt.
Yes.
He still got those pro linemen at Pitt.
Take that down his throat. No question about it.
You know, I think had Penn State not had those sanctions and a couple of those linemen would ended up
They
at
might have
Penn
had some
State,
of those, huh?
They're going to be good next year in 18
19 starters back. Yeah, no question about that.
Now, how about Florida State and Michigan? You can't tell me Harbaugh's team won't want to play. You might tell me Florida State's disinterested. I'm not listening to Harbaugh's dudes don't want to play.
Well, he already got them interested by talking down to him. He made a mistake right away. There's nothing wrong with being cocky, confident, I mean. But Harbaugh said the wrong things, and Florida State said, wait a minute. He's talking down to us. We've been good for the last 5 years. You finally have one
last
good year.
25.
Yes.
Let's go back to Bobby Bowden. I think he was top 4 or top 10 every year.
Michigan's favored by 7 in this game. I'll probably have Florida State as a dog. It's hard for me not to believe that they don't have talent on the field.
Tell him about Dalvin Cook.
He's a pro. He's a pro playing that position. Catches the ball in the backfield. One step, he's gone. Has enough power to get a first down. You'll see him in the pros. You'll be raving about him.
And you won't
wow.
be running them down from behind.
No,
that I can guarantee.
And Michigan has the Heisman candidate, Jabril Peppers, no doubt about it. Michigan defense is outstanding. But they're going to need their quarterback back, no question, because you saw the drop out there too. When they go to their second-string quarterback. Woo! It's not the same.
And they played Ohio State off their feet.
No, they did. And that's why I'm a big Michigan guy.
He was limited that day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, couldn't hardly lift his
He was
shoulder.
strapped out or something.
Yeah. I'm big on Michigan. I followed them all year, thought they were tremendous. It's just hard for me to believe Florida State. But by game time, I can probably have Michigan. Maybe the line might come down a little bit because I am a big Michigan guy.
Here's one that's interesting. Florida and Iowa. The Outback. Iowa, they lose to North Dakota. If they don't, they win 9. They're probably somewhere else. Cost me a little money in Vegas. My only loser. I don't know what to think. When they beat Michigan, they looked okay. When they murdered Wisconsin, but then they had these duds in the middle with Northwestern and North Dakota State, where they looked like they didn't want to be there.
They wanted to be there, but they need their game has to go exactly like they want it to be. Has to be low scoring. Has to be a game where they can run the football. And
No, they're not running. I saw Florida defense. They might not be able to score. But their defense isn't in trouble.
You got to think under in this game.
Whatever the under is,
You
get on it.
You got to believe it's going to be the over is going to be 37 in this game, no question about it. And Iowa plays an SEC team every year. I mean, every bowl season, that's who they play. Florida has 0 quarterbacks, so Iowa could get 17 turnovers in the game. Iowa can rush the passer. When you're watching this game, analyze who's going to turn the ball over. If you can get that figured out, then you're going to have the winner in the game because both defenses.
Ferentz historically will play conservative. See, I watched the guy at Florida hand the ball to Alabama. He had a 7-0 lead, and I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah, he
Let's
did.
pull it back a little. Let's run the ball. Let's not. He's rolling that kid left, throwing right, and things that the kid did from Hoover he wasn't capable of as a freshman.
Yeah, my thought is he thought probably he had to score 25, 26 points against
Okay.
Alabama.
Well, yeah.
Against Iowa, I would think he won't be as daring because he's probably going to think, well, my defense is going to hold them down.
And I can say that much. I know Iowa well enough, and I watched Florida play 6, 7. They're not marching up and down on
Yeah, I'll
Florida.
be surprised about that too, George. No question.
I don't know what's happening, but they're not marching.
No, I don't think either team will march. I don't think either team's going to march very far in this game.
No, I think you're
Yeah,
right.
that's why it's an over-under of 37.
The Iowa quarterback, I thought he would have a better year.
Yeah, Beathard was written up pretty big. No question about it. He did not have a great year, but it's a lot to do with their offense. They play conservative. That's why Ferentz has won 1,000,000 games playing that style. A lot like Joe Paterno did at Penn State. They believe in, okay, let's do it this way. Let's run the football, play action pass, let our defense take over. And both of them are successful. I mean, both of them, Iowa and Florida have done it well with their defenses this year. They're in a big bowl game, so it isn't like they're not good teams.
Nebraska and Tennessee, probably, in my mind, the biggest disappointment in the country. We heard Tennessee was ready to challenge Alabama, would win the East, and could they beat them? Remember they said, could they beat them twice, Alabama, because they played them during the round.
Yes.
I'm thinking, beat them twice. How about you get there first? Then you lose to stinking Vanderbilt the last game of the year.
Yeah, two most overrated teams in both leagues. No question. In the Big Ten, Nebraska was overrated.
They're no good.
You know, took it as far as they could take it with the talent they have. They don't have a lot of talent. Tennessee has talent, but you're talking about a team in disarray that does not play to their talent. Usually Tennessee does great in the bowl games because they have so much talent that the other team comes in and says, geez, how did they end up here?
They should be in a bigger
Yes.
bowl. Don't give them credit for it because they should be playing up.
Yeah, like they played Northwestern, I think, last year before and beat the crap out of it. Because you're thinking, what is Tennessee doing here?
I remember watching a game, rooting for Northwestern. There was no chance.
Yeah, and that's usually what Tennessee does because he does truly recruit. Butch Jones recruits 5-star players. You're talking about but they jump offside, they hold, they fumble, they intercept, they argue with each other. You're talking about a team that does not match, but they're front runners and they get in these bowl games.
They get up 17-0, they're going to be pointing. No, I know.
Yes.
And then didn't the one guy, the leading, was it rusher or receiver, decided after about 8 games he was leaving?
Yeah, Hurt's gone. Yeah, the Kamara's back though.
What is that though? What type of esprit de corps? I mean,
that's what they do. That's what they do. That's just the way. That's it. I think one kid got hurt. The hurt kid got hurt, and another kid says he's going to leave. But they had Kamara coming in. He's another pro coming in running back. So it doesn't matter. Dobbs is their quarterback. Probably the smartest man in America.
He's going to be an astronaut.
Yeah, probably the smartest man in America. So they got a leader built in, but it doesn't match up to how they play.
No, let's look at the 2 big bowls then. I mean, the Peach and the Fiesta, because that's going to give us the national title. Playing New Year's Eve again, I think they realize their mistake one more year. They're going to move those games. They're playing at 3 and 7. But, I don't know. I mean, I don't go out. It doesn't affect
For us, it doesn't affect
us. No, I was. This is like one of them New Year's things. It's not happening. But I will watch those games. Let's talk about Alabama, Washington. Could you see a scenario where the Huskies were in there in the third quarter?
Only because they have a great coach. And he'll pull some things out like he did at Boise. Their teams always play about 14 points better, his teams, than they really are. The talent difference is immense. You'll see Ross at wide receiver. He played for Alabama. You'll see maybe 2 defensive guys for Washington play for Alabama. But overall, Alabama has way better players. So it's not going to be how Washington plays. It's going to be how Alabama plays. And they sometimes have not played good in bowls. But
usually not the ones that lead to the title. So they've tended to slip up when they were like Utah that year, and they make that excuse. Well, I don't want to hear that crap. But the bottom line is this is for a national title.
Well, if you don't think they're going to mess up, then I don't see Washington being in the
How about Alabama? 14 non-offensive touchdowns. Have you heard of that?
No, and we talked about that earlier in the show. They're just amazing.
Punt return, kick return, interception.
No, they pick the ball off the ground. They're going to the touchdown. They're not picking it up and diving.
They're not diving on the ball like they taught you in 8th grade. Get on the ball.
No, and the other thing he does, and I said it all along, Saban knows the tricks. He puts all his best players on defense. He doesn't put his best players on offense. So don't think the linebacker and the cornerback didn't rush for 2,000 yards in high school.
Because they did.
You know, they were on the offense in high school.
Tell them about the kid from Central Valley.
Yeah, Foster was the number 1 or number 2 rated wide receiver in the country coming out of Pennsylvania. Came down to Alabama and Pitt because it was a local team. He went to Alabama. Sat out his first year because he couldn't come up with the plays. He didn't know the plays. Last year, he started the first 3 games. They gave him Julio Jones's number. Put up stats for 3 games were unbelievable. Got hurt. Has come back. Can't get his job back. He's one of the two top. You might see him play in the pros.
Yeah.
He can't stort, and originally he can't beat him back. He can't beat him out, and he's that great a receiver. That's the talent they have at Alabama.
When I say they only allowed 14 touchdowns, they scored 10 on defense and 4 on special teams themselves.
Yes.
So that's all you need to know. Let's look at the one with the local interest. Clemson, Ohio State. Buckeyes are favored. I personally would not have favored them. I would think Clemson. I've watched them match up a couple times, and it seems to me they're about as even as you can be. I give a slight edge to the Clemson quarterback, and I think that Clemson's defense may not be, I don't know if the word's solid. Ohio State is more opportunistic.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Unless something catches my eye that changes my attitude going to the game, I will take Watson over Barrett right now. And I think that Watson's outplaying him. I think they're very similar all over the field. You're going to see pros everywhere. But I'll take the good quarterback in the game, and I'll take the best receiver in the game, Mike Williams. Can Ohio State run the football? If Barrett has to go throw the ball every down, it's not going to work. And second, that's what George said. Can Ohio State, which they're great at doing, make Watson throw in a hurry, pick the ball off, and go for touchdowns? Right now, I'm leaning Clemson. I'm hoping somebody can convince me, because I think the line's off. I think Clemson should be favored, and so I want somebody to convince me that Ohio State's going to beat them. I'll tell you one thing: Ohio State does going for them. And the more I think about it, they've already beaten Oklahoma, and Clemson and Oklahoma do a lot of the same stuff. You know, they had Mayfield and Westbrook and Peppers all year of the Heisman Trophy winner. They're going to try to beat another Heisman winner.
Let's talk. Now, that's 4 they've gone against.
Yes.
They caught the 2 from Oklahoma and beat the dog out of them. Our man Hooker came up with another. Seems like every time you turn around, Hooker's bringing that ball back to the other way. Defensive
Player of the Year in ESPN. How about that from Newcastle, Pennsylvania? Defensive Player of the Year. Made an All-American team last night. I saw it come across. He's first-team All-American also. What a year he's had.
Played football like 11th grade.
Yes. What a year he's had. You Ohio State fans know for sure they're gonna win or lose with their offensive line. If Ohio State can run the ball down Clemson's throat, Ohio State by 3 touchdowns. I'll tell you right now, they're going to. This is what they did to Oklahoma. Oklahoma said, geez, we can't stop them. But if our offensive line plays like they have late in the year, where they could not block Penn State, they could not block Michigan to the last quarter, then Clemson's going to beat them. I see Clemson beating them.
Okay, we have a minute left. Dabo Swinney playing in a big game, 2nd year in a row. You don't even think about Urban Meyer. But the bottom line is, one of them is going to be able to play Alabama in the title game, and one of them is going to say, what if?
Yeah, no question. And I look at the coaches. I think all 4 coaches are outstanding.
This is Peterson from Boise. He did as well as you could do.
Yeah, Saban and Peterson are tremendous coaches, and we all know about Urban Meyer and Debo. They're both outstanding. They both are big game coaches. They love being in the big games. I wouldn't doubt if one of the 2 teams pulls about 3 or 4 special plays out on punt returns and punt blocks and things like that. Great games, exciting to see. Right now, I'm leaning toward Clemson in that game in Alabama.
We have a few weeks yet, 30 seconds. Lots of points in that game. I'm thinking one of those where whoever has the ball last can win it.
In the Clemson-Ohio State game?
Yes.
Well, it depends on Ohio State's offensive line. You're right, George. If they block, then it's going to be a high-scoring game. No question about it.
You heard it here on Bottom Line Sports Talk. Thanks again for watching.